Okay, well, good evening and good to see you both. Let's start out with just a little bit of a warm-up and then we'll continue from there. So let's start with a hand straight to the center of the chest. But this about aligning yourself. So lift through the crown of the head. Get that spine nice and long, nice and tall. Big breath as you exhale, stretch. So we move with the breath. Inhale. Push up, palms, exhale, open wide, clasp hands behind the back. Inhale, shoulder blades together and back. Repeat. Back, pause here a moment. This right here is center of the sternum. It's the heart center in yoga, or chakra, if you're familiar with that term. So imagine breathing right through here, right through the center. And exhale. Push up. Hands together. And back. Okay. Reach up, high, and then come over, stretch. Inhale back and over. And once again. And this time come and hold. Inhale, align shoulders as much as you can, one shoulder over the other. Each exhale, try to open that elbow up a little bit. Much as you can. Stretch. Inhale back up and back. You're feeling grounded from the back, bottom of your hips, as if that's rooted and you're lifting out. Quickly on the exhale, you try to open out, but stay feeling rooted from the hips. The hips stay more level. So the stretches through here, all the way up through the fingertips. Now reach in into a twist. Again, lift through the crown of the head. This right hand, if we're going to the right side, can be used for balance. Inhale. Exhale back. The other side. Yeah. Just try to lift through the crown of the head, nice and tall. Inhale up. Big breath right deep in the belly. And over. Now just gently move with the breath, not holding it so much, just breathing with the breath, moving with the breath in this particular movement. And this time we come over to this side, hold this pose. Each inhale, lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, let go. Just being with the breath, and then turn the head the opposite direction of the belly. The belly stays twisted the same way. Even tip the head, put a little tension in this, sort of like wringing a rag. And then release that tension. And then come back up and over. Same thing, several breaths, everything in the same direction. Be mindful of the spine, the lumbar spine, 5 vertebrae behind the belly, and the 12 that have ribs attached to them, the thoracic spine, and finally the 7 vertebrae of the neck or cervical spine. Lifting through the crown of the head on the inhale, exhale, letting go. And then this little reverse twist, turning the head the opposite direction. The cervical and lumbar spines go in the opposite direction. And somehow they meet the thoracic. Tip the head. And then release that tension. Okay, come back. Want to do a little work today with affirmations. So let me share the screen. Share screen. Okay. Um, these are just some affirmations I've collected. They're related to mantras, maybe not quite the same, but it's the idea, like a mantra, is to focus on a particular idea. I'll read through these. These are things, of course, I use in college classes, but they're actually a little bit modified from that. The first one is called Deep Peace. So just try to imbibe that thought. Deep peace. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. I am not my thoughts. I am not my thoughts. I am who I should be. I am who I should be. May I live in peace. May I live in peace. May I be free from fear. May I be free from fear. May I be healthy and strong. May I be healthy and strong. May I see the bright side of things. May I see the bright side of things. May I be loving and kind. May I be loving and kind. Let me be kind to myself. Let me be kind to myself. May I love and be loved. May I love and be loved. Thou art with me. Or excuse me, love is all there is. Love is all there is. Thou art with me. Thou art with me. I am that I am. So maybe just choose one you want to work with. I'll go through the list once more quickly. The idea is choose one that you want to repeat over and over, and we're going to combine that with some movement. Deep peace. This too shall pass. I'm not my thoughts. I am who I should be. May I live in peace. May I be free from fear. May I be healthy and strong. May I see the bright side of things. May I be loving and kind. Let me be kind to myself. May I love and be loved. Love is all there is. Thou art with me. I am that I am. And of course, you're certainly welcome to make one of your own. These are just suggestions. So, again, go with what comes to mind. Don't think about it too much, but something that gathers you. And just for a few minutes, repeat that over and over till you have the affirmation you want to use tonight, whatever it may be, firmly in your mind. From there, let's come on to our, Renee, you made it. Thank you. You're muted.
Who is? Not me.
Renee is.
No, she's here.
I'm in California, so I am going to be doing mostly listening today.
Okay. All right.
I'm doing some moving around. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you see the affirmations?
I did see them.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so from here, let's come back onto our hands and knees. Give you a little bit of time on that. Okay.
One thing, excuse me, Shannon, if you don't mind muting when you are not required to speak, because every time or there's a noise in your room, we see you rather than Bruce. So
Oh, really? Oh,
Okay. How about that? All right. Thanks for telling me that.
yeah,
Did
Scott,
not know.
Scott, can we be?
yeah. It shifts to whoever is talking, and
Yeah, I
so
guess
we,
it does, doesn't
so we
it?
can mute
All right. Well,
while Bruce is presenting, unless of course he wants us to respond. That's different.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. How's that, Carl? I just pinned myself. Okay, so now I think that shouldn't be a problem. And also you get a bigger version of me. I should have done that in the beginning. Sorry about that. Okay, again, hands and knees. This is called tabletop position. So, legs about hip width apart, hands under shoulders. I think we've done this before. So as you inhale, lift the shoulders, pull back the hips, exhale, arch the back. Sort of call this cat-cow, like the cat arches. I don't know exactly where to get the cow out of it. I guess she has a little bit of a sway back. And again, notice you're not pulling forward. You're really pulling back and really lifting that spine. Exhale. Okay, now the variation of this is inhale the same way. Exhale, start with the arch and then come back down onto heels, then on chest on thighs, and finally forehead on mat. And then pulling back on your hands to feel a lengthening, coming back up. Just exercising that spine. This is hard on your knees. You can try putting something like a blanket underneath the knees, like that, if you have knee issues. Okay, let's do, this time let's come down and stay down for a moment. Then come back up. Hands walk forward, curl toes, push yourself up, stretch those calves. And then walk yourself forward into a standing position. And pardon me while I change the position of my video. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. A nice little view of cave I share with my wife here. It's our little addition to the house that we share with one of our daughters and her family. Okay, so from here, let's go right to that mountain pose. Remember the mountain pose. Ground those feet as if they are rooted into the ground. Shins together. Lift the kneecaps. Lift from the pelvic floor. Deep breath. Exhale, pull the navel in and up. Shoulders up and back, but buoyant. Upper arms outwards. And do this. Remember, you're opening that heart center right through the sternum. Elbows down inwards, spreading the fingers. Chin level and throat to the back of the neck. Lift through the crown of the head. And even try bringing the lower ribs in and lifting the ribs, the collarbone, excuse me. Imbibe the qualities of a mountain. The mountain is rooted deep in the earth, but its peak is above the clouds. Just that feeling of being grounded helps manage anxiety. But also the mountain is an enduring presence. I think we've gone over this before. It endures all kinds of weather, all the seasons. blizzards, storms, baking heat, floods, fires. Through it all, the mountain persists. And we too have all kinds of things happening in our lives, but we get through it. We are an enduring presence. So inhale up. Exhale over. This time, hold the breath. I'll be a mirror for you, bringing the left hand down, stretching the right side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Pull forward, excuse me. Almost forgot. And again, holding the breath out. This time the breath is held. Inhale up. Back to the mountain briefly. Lift the pelvic floor, ground those feet, throat to the back of the neck, and then inhale. This back bend, you're mostly opening the belly and chest, not throwing the head back so far. A little maybe. Then big release. Release all that tension, all the tightness of the day. Inhale up. Exhale over. Hold. Breath and pose. Inhale up. Deep. Exhale. Hold. Breath and pose. Reach, 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 reach. Pull forwards. Rather than from the hips, try to bend from the waist. Come down. Lift hips, sink just. The upper back does bend too, but start from the lower or the hips. And breath held out. Inhale back, ground the feet, lift pelvic floor, turn the back of the neck, and then this time we hold the breath in. Big breath, hold it. And release. Once again, a little less talk from me. Try to get into the feeling of the pose. Ground those feet, the pelvic floor. Release. Okay, so now it's time for that affirmation. So again, bring to mind the affirmation you had and come into the warrior one pose. Remember, that's one leg forward. The back foot is kind of at an angle like this. Get, from the mountain, remember your feet are grounded. Lift the pelvic floor, shoulders up and back. And we'll do this, what I call the heart opening version of it. It's something I created from a mudra and a variation of warrior one. So inhale, exhale. Feel like you're breathing right through this heart center here. Once again. This time as you come, hold the pose and the breath for 2 repetitions of your affirmation. And then back. Again, hold pose and breath for 2 repetitions of your affirmation. Bang, that's breath held in. This time hold the pose and breath for 3 repetitions of your affirmation. And back. Again, 3 repetitions. Back. This time hold breath and pose for 4 repetitions for your affirmation. Back. This time hold for 3 repetitions of the affirmation. Breath and pose. Back. Again, hold for 3 repetitions of that affirmation. Back. 2 repetitions of the affirmation. Back, and once more, 2 repetitions of the affirmation. And then just in and out with the breath. If you like, you can coordinate affirmation with breath or just come in and out with breath. And back. Come back to mountain pose, but hands at that heart center. And just without judgment, non-judgmental awareness, just know whatever you feel, particularly in this area of your body, right in the center of the chest. And then switch sides. The other foot forward. And the back foot is at an angle. Again, ground yourself. Hands up here. I like the elbows up, but this can be a variation with what you like. And first of all, let's just warm up, coming in and out. Feel like you're breathing right through the center of the sternum, which of course is the breastplate, as some people call it. And this time, hold for 2 repetitions your affirmation. And once more, hold for 2 repetitions. This time, come and hold the breath and pose for 3 repetitions of your affirmation. Again, hold for 3 repetitions of your affirmation. This time, come and hold breath and pose for 4 repetitions of your affirmation. Again, hold for 4 repetitions of your affirmation. Back, hold for 3 repetitions of the affirmation. And back, holding for 3 repetitions of your affirmation. And now 2 repetitions of the affirmation, holding breath and pose. Again, 2 repetitions of the affirmation. And then just in and out. Pause, come back to mountain, and just, again, notice whatever sensation or what your response to that is, what your feeling is from that. And then up, reach tall, pause there a moment, and fold forward. Again, come up, smooth, so your body can flow like water. And back. Holding this pose. Now slide the hands up right below the knees. Pull back on the hips and lift the shoulders. And note where you feel the stretch. You can put some pressure with these hands, but not on the knees. Be below the knees, just below the knees. Pull back in hips, lift shoulders, and then bend, come back down on into mountain pose, and then onto your mat, onto your belly. We'll come into cobra. Let's see, how is that? That's pretty good, I think. Okay. So remember, let's go through the cobra, half cobra first. Pull back in the hands, lift shoulders. Come up, hold breath and pose. And repeat your affirmation. Maybe 3 to 5 times, 3 to 6 times, depending on how long your affirmation is. And then exhale back down. Once more. Pull back in the hands so you feel like you're lifting or lengthening the spine. Shoulders up. Just come as far as you can without pushing. Hold, breath in, and repeat affirmation. And down. Pause for a moment. And next we'll do full cobra. Big inhale followed by an exhale. Inhale, pull back in the hands. That's to give you a feeling of lengthening the back. First come up just part way, and then we can't get any further. Then push in, lifting belly. Activate the thighs, point the toes, repeat your affirmation, breath held in. And then exhale slowly down. Take a couple deep breaths. Once more. Breath in, exhale. Come up, part way, then push. Activate legs. Hold pose and breath. Repeat affirmation. And slowly back down. Pause for a moment. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale and exhale. Inhale again, pull back with the hands. Lift first shoulders, then push. Belly off. Activate legs, toes, and repeat affirmation. And slowly down. Give yourself a little rest between them. I mean, sometimes people go real fast, but I think slow is better. Remember the slow flow yoga. Once more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale coming up. Nice and slow. Hold affirmation. And slowly back down. Pause for a moment. And push yourself up to seated position. Again, we come on our heels. And again, if that's hard on the knees, taking something like a blanket or even an extra mat and putting them under your heels like this takes some of the strain off the knees. Okay, again, lift through the crown of the head. Pull forward. Once you're down, pull back in the buttocks. Forehead comes toward the mat. Holding breath out and repeating the affirmation again. You know, like, almost like you're surrendering into the thought of the affirmation, the idea of the affirmation. Inhale up and back. Again. Remember the affirmation, letting go. As I think we've talked about before, to strengthen the core, you just keep these arms up here. If you need to keep from falling down, you can bring them down ahead of the head. But otherwise, try to keep upper arms up as high as possible as you come down. That means inner arms near the ears. Let go, pull back on hips. Remember the affirmation, breath held out. If you can keep those arms up as you come up, a lot of leverage there. That strengthens here and the lower back. But again, you have to work in stages. And the other thing, of course, is this very much resembles a prayer pose, a prayer of letting go. Most of what stresses us, we won't remember a year from now, even a month from now. Most things. Just let them go into the infinity of time and space. It's kind of like having some faith in the universe that things will work out. Again, helps relieve stress. Just believe in the order of the universe. Again, let go, surrender. Remember, surrender in this case does not mean giving up like it might be in, say, a war. Surrender here means letting go of things that are not useful. Once more. And back. All right. Let's get down on our backs and we'll review the body scan. And then I'll get on with some discussion of tonight's topic, which is how we use our time. So first of all, coming down your back, just settle in here, shoulder blades flat. You can lift the head and bring the chin toward the collarbone and back. If you have a blanket, you know, it's nice to have something under your neck. Prop up the neck a little bit. I can do this without blanket folding 101. There we go. Okay. Hands palms up, comfortable distance from your side. Yeah, get this so you can see. Okay. Feet, you know, comfortable width apart. Not too far apart, not necessarily right together. Again, you can adjust that to where you like. Now, as you settle in here, bring your awareness to your feet, soles of your feet, heels and soles of your feet. And whatever sensations you feel there, or a lack of sensations, just scanning the soles of your feet, the heel through the arches to the ball of the foot, all the feet, both feet. And bring your awareness to your toes, a large toe in each foot. You can embrace whatever sensations are there or lack of sensations if there's nothing particular. Then to the second toe. It's like scanner, like a scanner that's slowly moving through the body to the third toe, the middle toes on each foot. And the fourth toe on each foot. Following those small toes on each foot. Seeing what you can find there, what sensations you might be aware of. Then the tops of the toes to the top of the foot. Again, moving slowly down, you know, like slow flow, slowly moving your awareness in this case through the tops of your foot to your ankle, Achilles heel, and the top of the heel. Then let that awareness move from your ankles on up through your shins and calves slowly, starting at the bottom of the lower leg, coming up through the calves and shins, and even the center of the lower legs, plural, excuse me. And slowly on up, the awareness moves to your knees. Exploring the knees a bit here, the kneecap, the outside of the kneecap, inside the kneecap, inside the knee itself. What sensations do you feel here? Do you have problems with your knees? The backs of the knees? Imagine sending the breath in and out through the knees. And slowly bring your awareness up from the knees through the thighs, the quadriceps in the front of your thighs, hamstrings in the back, center of your thighs, where the femurs are, slowly moving up all parts of the thighs, mid-thigh, and finally coming up to the hip and where the femur comes into the ilium, which is the flat bones that form that ball, or the ball and socket joint, socket being the head of the femur. Try to visualize that area on both sides, both ball and socket joints. Imagine breathing in right through that ball and socket joint, down your thighs to your toes, and back up. A couple breaths like that. Then bring the awareness up to your pelvis, the pelvic bowl, a sensitive area of the body, and the back of the pelvis. Sacroiliac joint and the sacrum, the bottom part of the spine. Whatever sensations you feel here. Just, again, fully inhabiting and embracing whatever sensations they are, whether you like them or not. Just notice, and you can maybe try to breathe into the lower spine, the sacrum area, and move right up that spine to the 5 lumbar vertebrae in the lower back, and in the front of that, the belly and the navel area. And some deep breaths through the navel. Let it rise and fall gently. Not forced, just kind of opening up to the breath. Move your awareness on up to the rib cage and the 12 vertebrae of the thoracic spine where the back of the ribs attach. And then right into the chest cavity itself. Take some deep breaths, letting the chest rise and fall with each breath. Notice the sensation of the breath entering your lungs. Try to imagine or visualize that. Feel that air coming into the lung tissue and back out. And just lying here in stillness and peace. Feel the sensation of the breath coming in and out of your lungs. And now tune in and see if you can sense the beating of your own heart. A little to the left and low, just a little bit lower and to the left of the heart center that we talked about, the center of the sternum. This rhythm of life that's been beating in you since before you were born. And you were still in your mother's womb. Will continue to beat throughout your lifetime. Along with the breath that starts at birth and continues throughout your lifetime. Bring your awareness up away from the chest to your shoulders and from your shoulders down your arms to your hands. And again, just noticing the whatever sensations you feel in your thumbs. And then your index fingers, your middle fingers, the ring fingers, again, just embracing whatever sensations are there or lack of sensation, although the sense of touch is really acute in the hands. So you probably feel something, but maybe not. Again, non-judgmental awareness. As you bring your awareness to the sensations in your pinkies and the palms of your hands, the inner palms. And bring your awareness to the backs of your hands. From there, again, this image of this moving scanner just slowly coming up to your wrists, fronts and backs and sides of your wrists, and whatever sensations you feel in your wrists. And slowly up the lower arms. Maybe see if you can feel the ulnar and radius, the two bones that form the inner part of the lower arms. Moving slowly up. Right, tightness. Whatever sensations are there as you move on up to your elbow hinge joint. The sensations you have in your elbows. From there, move slowly up to your upper arms, biceps, triceps in the back of the arms, biceps and what we think of as the front of the arms. And again, the center of the arms where the humerus are, the arm bone, if you will. And again, to where it comes into the shoulder girdle. Remember that ball and socket joint that was a more shallow joint, giving more flexibility, but not as stable or rugged as the hip joints. Again, focus your awareness on the sensations you feel right around the shoulder joint. And then move from there on to the shoulder blades and the collarbone. And whatever sensations you are feeling there. And bring the awareness up to your throat, and then the sides and back of your neck. Some gentle but deep breaths, focusing on the sensation of the air moving in and out of the throat, your neck. Bracing the sensations you feel in the sides and of your neck, the back of your neck, and your throat, and the center of the neck. And then bring your awareness up to your face, starting with the chin and jaw, the jaw going all the way back to just below the ears and underneath the jaw. There come onto the chin, the lower part of the chin, then the chin itself, and your lips and teeth and mouth. And just noticing what sensations you feel. And letting go of ideas of what should and shouldn't be, or whatever, whether you like or dislike the sensations as much as possible, just accepting them as they are. Bring your awareness up to your cheeks and your nose. Whatever sensations you feel here. And from the cheeks on up to the eyes, and the eyebrows and your forehead. Imagine this face can open up and shine. Let your awareness come back to the sides of your head and the temples and your ears. And whatever sensations are here. And then the back of your head where it's resting against whatever you're lying on. And finally, the crown of your head, top of your head. And imagining breathing in from the crown of your head, just like the blowhole of a whale, breathing in from the crown of your head. Let the air go all the way down your body, through your arms to fingertips, down your neck, chest, belly, legs, toe tips, and then exhale coming back out. Just lie here for a moment on the rhythm of your breath. At this point, incorporate your affirmation with the breath. Just letting go into the thought or idea or the feeling of your affirmation. Anytime you find your mind wandering, know that that's just what minds do, and just bring it back. Bring it back to your breath, the feeling of your breath, and the feeling of the affirmation. Coordinating the affirmation if you can, or if not, with the breath, it's optional. Once again, bring your mind back to your breath, your affirmation, if it has wandered. Then slowly bring your awareness back to your body, starting with the crown of your head that you've been breathing through, the back of your head, and the sides, temples, and ears. And your awareness again to the forehead, eyebrows, and eyes, down to the nose and cheeks, the cheekbones, the lips and chin, teeth, your mouth, down the chin to underneath the chin and then the jaw, along the jaw, all the way back to the ears. And your awareness to your throat, the sides and back of your neck. Maybe just gently rock your head back and forth. Let yourself smile. Bring your awareness to your shoulders, the shoulder girdle, and then the awareness on down the arms, starting with the upper arms, all the way through the elbows, and the elbows down to your wrists, and your wrist into your hands, moving the fingers and the hands, maybe even moving the arms a bit, and then taking a deep breath first through the chest, letting that rib cage expand and contract. Next breath through the belly. Again, the belly expands and contracts. And your awareness back down into the pelvic region, the sternum, the pelvic bowl. And then from there, down the thighs to your knees. And from your knees down to your ankles and feet, and then out along the soles of your feet to your toes, and moving the toes, moving the feet, moving all your limbs a little bit to wake the body back up. Then bring your knees to your chest and roll over to one side and just stay there for a few moments, few breaths. And then push yourself into a seated position. And are we awake? Sometimes people fall asleep in that. Yeah, I see Carl, I see Sharon, and I think Renee, you've got your camera off, and that's okay. If you're having internet issues. Okay, so how's everybody? Thoughts, any feelings? Okay. Now I want to go back into let me hang on. The rest of tonight's discussion. Okay. Let me share screen. Hey, multitasking. Did anybody try this exercise?
No,
How'd it go? Who said yes? That's Sharon?
I said no.
No,
I
anybody?
thought about it, I read it. And I
Okay.
was busy.
Does anybody have pencil or paper and paper kind of handy? Not too far away?
Been a long time since I touched pen and paper last.
I know. I mean, I guess you could do it digitally, but I think it's a little easier with pen and paper. Or
All right.
pencil and paper will do. Okay, so the exercise is on two lines. The first line right, and include the quotation marks here. I am a great multitasker, period. Quotes. And just let me know when you're done. No. Okay,
Okay.
Sharon, done.
Mhm.
I guess, Renee, you're going to follow along. Okay, so I didn't time you, but it didn't take too long. About, they say it usually takes around 15 seconds, more or less. That's probably more or less what you did, maybe even a little less time. Now, we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to do it a little differently. First, you write out the word I, and then you write the letter 1. Then you go A, then the letter 2. I guess you don't use the quotation marks. M, 3. So you keep going back and forth between the two lines. And let's see how long it takes you to write. I am a great multitasker, and numbers 1 through 20. That's taking more like 45 seconds. What's the difference, Sharon?
Mm, well, you're doing more writing. I mean, it's gonna take longer,
Are you,
right?
are you really doing more writing? It just takes longer, huh?
Well, after each letter, you put a number. So that's twice as much writing, or maybe I'm not getting this.
Well, the first time you're supposed to write out the line, I am a great multitasker, and then write the second line, 1 through 20.
I think you forgot the instruction of writing 1 to 20 because I also didn't write the line.
Ah.
I
Well,
don't know. I must have done it wrong.
Anyway, I understand the exercise, but I don't agree with it in many ways.
Okay, why not?
So if you count or if you measure the distance that your hand has to travel, I'm dyslexic, right with the left hand, and I have always in my life have great difficulty in writing. And so the fact that I have to move my pen from one line to the other will take just as much time as writing one of them. So to equate those are two, it's like apples and oranges. What they're trying to say, I understand that we are, in fact, our brain are measured on a scientific level, not to multitask. But I think the exercise defies all logic and falls flat. I think it's childish and does not give a good impression of the author. That's my opinion.
You didn't like the exercise.
No, it's not a question I didn't like the exercise. I think her logic is faulty. That I take objections to. Because, okay, so I write the quotation mark. Now my hand
Actually,
has to travel down to the second line. That takes time. But she's equating it with the fact that it's more difficult to do the two things. I think it's
well,
a hopeless
yeah, but
logic.
isn't that more, I think the point is that there's more time in jumping your mind between two things too. You're talking about the physical distance. What about the mental activity of switching between two things rapidly?
I don't find that very convincing. I understand on a brain level, on a scientific level, that's what we do. I just think that the exercise does not reflect it very well.
What do you think, Sharon? Of course, I messed it up by not telling you to write the line. I thought I said that, but
Yeah,
Oh,
wrong anyway. I should, yeah.
well, what do you think about the exercise of having to go back and forth as opposed to just writing the line?
Well, yeah, that would take you longer. It interrupts your thinking. Yeah, I guess that's the point. It interrupts what you're doing. I mean, you could sort of mindlessly write the sentence. You just look at the sentence and write it. Um, but what was the sentence again? Yeah, we wrote it down the first time. And so we knew the sentence. I'm a great multitasker. Um, but if if we're just going to keep writing that over and over again, yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy. But to interrupt your thinking, yeah, I guess that was the point, and it's true. It would interrupt your thought.
Okay, well, try it on your own sometime. Um, so basically, yeah, if you haven't gone over this, go over it. But what I want to, value time. And again, this is more or less aimed at college students. But as I said, I think in the introduction to this, or what I wrote for the assignment, I think it has some value for all of us. Uh, the strategy here of, well, setting priorities is a big one. And I think this tends to be, what are your goals? And here it says a list that a student might write. And then what is the most important thing for a college student? They should go to class. A lot of them don't, and they ones that don't tend not to do as well. But in terms of if you have a job, going to your work, um, doing what you have to decide, nobody can decide for you, but whatever's most important, do that first, even though it might not be the easiest thing. I think the point they sit in here is we tend to do what's easy and quick. Let's get that out of the way. There's a fallacy in that. And there's a fallacy, and part of the fallacy is um, we distribute our attention. And I think that was the idea of the exercises. When you your attention isn't focused and moving back and forth. That said, um, maybe I could do more in question form, but uh, you can only focus so long, and we can be really focused for a while, but then we do need to take breaks as well. So this is all kind of the idea here. Uh, and here she goes through that. The one thing would like you to do, and this is going to be part of your homework, is take this test on your style. Can always probably pretty much predict some of your styles, but and Renee, please do this too. I'll post the homework earlier this time. One of the questions is going to be take this test, and there's 6 questions, and each question says, how do you, let's say this one. Uh, you have to, again, you have to translate from being a student to whatever your stage of life is, but you have this essay you have to write or something of the letter. It could be a letter or whatever. When do you start? Do you work on it immediately? Better to get it out of the way. Do you read over all the instructions or whatever you want to put in the letter or whatever, translate that? And you have a week to finish it, right? Read the prompts, start playing around, but wait until really start writing until the day before it's due. And then you might forget about it until a few hours before it's due, and then you ask for an extension. That's the first question. So all 6 of these questions are like that. And just choose what you do, A, B, C, D. And then from that, you can assess what's your approach. Do you tend to be ahead of things? Do you tend to kind of be more balanced? Do you tend to be a pressure cooker, get things done, get it done on time at the last minute, or the improviser's the one who's, whoops, I didn't quite get that done. Plead my case. Okay, and then uh, from that, I'm going to ask you to, what's the advantage? Assess your style and what's the advantage and disadvantage of each style. And they go through that here and again, you don't have to, since Carl, I know you like to really think these things out. You don't have to agree with what they say, but just think about that, and that will be part of your written assignment. And then this is about procrastination. Actually, I want to move on from this and stop sharing here. And I want to go into the other reading, actually. Here, this is where I am at. But actually, I posted some in the week 4 assignment. Maybe I can actually share this. Yeah, so week 4, I think we're at week 4, yes. That's the quiz, which I think well, Sharon's taken it at least. This is the time management. This is the happier. I want to go for that. This was the affirmations I shared with you earlier, so that you have on your computer. Discussion questions. That's what I wanted. Okay, so let's see. I do that. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So in chapter 5 of the book Happier, they talked about flow. From that handout, and you can go look at it if that would help. Flow, yeah, this part of the chapter, and I apologize for that. So let's see, where's my discussion questions? You see, I like to have lots of windows open. Um, which best explains that concept of flow? It's been a long day. I don't know where the time went. The time flew by. There's not enough time. And I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read this, but this graph kind of shows what it's like. Skill level versus difficulty. There's a stage of flow where you feel in the zone, so to speak. If you're too challenged, you feel anxious. If you're under challenged, you feel bored. So, which of, oh, it's up here. So, which of these do you think expresses that the best?
Would be B or C. I don't know what the difference is.
I know, I did that on purpose.
Yeah, they're
Carl, what do
similar.
you think? Carl, you're muted.
Time flew by.
You're saying Carl because your pronunciation is it's difficult for me to hear.
Oh, okay.
I was
Yeah.
like Carl Snarl.
Oh, really? Is there something with my audio?
No, anyway, it's okay. I'm just not used to hearing it that way. And yeah, I am with Sharon. It's B and C, and I have entered the state of flow in many works. I'm a musician. I was
Oh, yes.
a sports a national team type of thing. So I'm very from childhood. I'm familiar with flow, but I did this is put in into an academic setting, so I'm not so familiar with the way he expresses it and the way it's written here. Um, so yeah, it didn't. His
Yes.
writing did not resonate with me.
Uh-huh. So you experienced the concept of flow, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost put myself into it at will. I play a lot of music still and
Mhm.
constantly enter flow state with many other things also. Even that little exercise you did, I try to make it a rhythm. It's quite enjoyable, and I wouldn't care that it takes longer. So I had so many objections. I had so many objections to that article, but I tried to make it fun, right?
But
So
as a musician, you don't let your mind wander. You're focused. I mean, flow is you're really on one thing, no?
Um, I sorry, I did not understand what you were saying there.
Well, you were saying the back and forth, but as a musician, you're not going back and forth when you're in the flow.
I don't think I said those two things that you pull up.
What?
Sorry, I don't mean to be argumentative today, but it just
Oh, no,
uh,
that's fine. That
I
I
was
mean,
explaining that I have experienced flow a lot of times because I'm a musician,
hmm.
and I did not say anything about going back and forth. I said
Well,
that
no, no.
I tried to enter a flow state with that exercise of writing the letters and the
Uh-huh.
numbers. And
Okay, yeah, I
that's
think
how I look at learning and how I enjoy learning. And when teachers want you to memorize, you lost me there. So that's just me. That's how I learn
I
things.
think that's wonderful. I think that's exactly what he's trying to get at. And if you've already gotten it, maybe you don't need this particular lesson. But I guess what I was pointing out is when you're in that flow state, I mean, the whole point of the exercise, of course, is if we can focus our mind on one thing. And I think in the flow state, you're just naturally focusing on, well, in your music or earlier in your life in your sports. So you do focus your mind, and it sounds like you do that very well. A lot of individuals do not, which is the whole point
I
of why.
never consider it a focus. I consider it an intuition, a layer of my mind that's higher than focus. So anyway, that's a
Oh, okay.
different experience and different
The mind is
presentation.
not wandering, right?
I don't think that not wondering is focused anyway.
Okay. Sharon, so the difference between this, I think, is pretty. The B and C is sometimes I don't know where the time went means you could be struggling with something and not having the satisfaction that you get in the flow. But when you're in the flow, time just does seem to disappear.
Okay.
Is the way I put it. So, Sharon, what do you think about the concept of flow?
Um, I can get into that when I start writing, when I write
Okay.
about different things. I was working on my mom's memoir. She died a few years ago, and we were working on her memoirs. And so when I start writing, and I can stay up all night. I can pull an all-nighter
That,
studying, thinking about it. And normally I go to bed really early, but when my brain is in that creative space, yeah.
that's wonderful. Yeah, and uh that's it. That's it. Uh Again, maybe you're right, Carl, that this is more in an I think in the academic setting, it might be a little harder for college students. And again, that might be where he's coming from because he was a professor. What about this concept of underprivileged of privilege? I don't know if you had a chance to read this, but he makes this argument that privileged are the underprivileged of privilege. What part of the argument is uh, if I feel, if I've had the best of everything in life, if I've come from, family with some wealth, I've had the best schools, etc., etc., I have no right to feel unhappy, right? I should be happy. Everything's been given to me. Why am I not happy? This is kind of what he was saying. What do you think about that? Do you think this is
I think it's grasping for straws. And my old statistics teacher used to tell me you can make a statistics out of anything. um,
yes.
why I say this because I think he's missing part of the spiritual angle beyond mindfulness. I'm talking about deep religious conviction. There's plenty of people who are wealthy, have privilege, and are happy and not necessarily um, tormenting themselves about it. So I think it's like it's a weird. They have done some studies. They asked some questions and they found some correlation, and then they write books on it.
You're an anti-academic.
I'm not anti-academic. I like research, but
Well, this is research.
I just don't feel like he's missing angles that are like they're more
Well,
important
I'll
than what he
challenge you
says.
on that. Have you ever looked at data? Have you ever worked with a lot of wealthy people in terms of large numbers rather than just a few people?
Well, I consider myself coming from a developed countries, and I have spent a lot of half my life in undeveloped or poor countries. So I have a pretty good, and in poor countries you also get people that are wealthy. So
Oh, yes,
I
definitely.
just don't, I just,
Even more so.
I don't have the statistical or the academic rigor that he has. I'm just not impressed with what he
So,
said.
but,
I
but
do
Carl,
agree that there is a mental crisis. I just don't think it comes from that.
okay, but leaving aside the author, in your experience, does happiness correlate with wealth? You've worked
No.
with people who are very poor. I mean, other than, of course, he has the caveat. There's a caveat in there that,
No, I appreciate that caveat that the basic necessities has to be provided, and that's pretty relative. Basic necessities in the United States not the same as in Burkina Faso. So I can appreciate that. Certainly, there's a certain anxiety of not having the basic necessities.
okay, so leaving aside not having basic necessities. Is happiness correlated with wealth? In your experience, not in any academic studies. You've been, as you say, you've been in many different situations. You've been around wealthy countries. You've been in poor countries. Do you think happiness is correlated with wealth?
I think it is less, the argument is less persuasive if you
Not
take
the argument, your experience.
my experience. I have seen plenty of people who are wealthy who is extremely happy, and I have seen a lot of people who have the basic necessities who are. I I would say there is a correlation, but it's not as strong as that people think. Again, I think it's kind of a narrative that's very popular in certain groups. Not in my experience.
Okay.
I find a lot of people. I have found poor people who are very happy. I've had rich people who are very happy. I think the world is much more varied, and there are other factors in play than wealth related to happiness. It's almost become like if you're wealthy, you should be unhappy. I think that's a misnomer. And I think you can be wealthy without being greedy and like having a super materialistic oriented
Hmm. Hmm.
mindset that really, really throws you into a kind of a psychosis about greed and wealth. So I think that wealth is a really bad terminology to use. It's not even psychological because it comes from another field, and I think it's misused. I think we should talk about the psychology of people, whether they have greed. I mean, let's say imperialism for me is a collective psychosis of greed.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop you there because, I want to keep some focus. But I think, well, Sharon, what are you thinking about of this discussion? I don't want to leave you out. And of course, Renee, you can always chime in. You just sort of said you were more listening tonight.
Okay. I think that people that statistically it would go up. The more money you have, the happier you'd get up to a point, and then it would sort of plateau. Because if you're in a great deal of debt, and the bill collector's calling and they're gonna repossess your car, I mean, yeah, it's hard to be happy through all that. I think so. I mean, if you live in a poor country and those aren't really issues and stuff, then that's different too. It has to do with how much money the people around you have, how secure life is for the general population. But yeah, I think it's important to have enough money to pay your bills and to go out to eat with your friends once in a while, to do those sort of things. But then when you get to the obscene wealth that we're seeing more and more of in this country, it becomes more problematic. Not that extremely rich people can't be happy. I mean, a lot of these billionaires have done good things. I think the children of billionaires, it really depends on the parents. I mean, the parents have really got to learn to ground them, because I
Yeah.
think it is difficult growing up with that much money and not really knowing what your purpose is, what you should be doing, just having things handed to you and not being
Mhm.
like everybody else. I mean, those are stressful situations, I think.
Okay. And actually, Carl, when you expressed it, you're saying pretty much the same thing what he's saying. He's talking about, and then he goes on to the emotional part, uh, as the great equalizer. And wealth only matters to the point, as you just said, Sharon, and that you are able to have some stability in your life. If you don't have a place to live, you don't have enough food to eat, then and you're going to be in stress. Or if you are severely repressed, like in a political system and imprisoned, and we can think of of those kind of situations. But beyond that, uh, happiness doesn't come uh, from wealth, and I think we know that. Let's see, in the time we have left, ah, let's see, what question did I ask here?
Number two, it's like it wasn't finished.
Oh no,
The last sentence wasn't finished.
the caveat. Oh, I think you got the caveat. The caveat is you have to have enough to meet your basic necessities.
I'm just saying the sentence didn't finish itself. Didn't get finished.
What
What
caveat?
caveat does the author to the
Oh, sorry about that. I'll correct that. Yeah, what caveat does the author have to that argument? Let's actually go to prejudice against work. What do you think? Do people prefer leisure or do they prefer work? Sharon, what do you think?
I think it really depends. I mean, it all comes down to purpose. Like down here in Sun City, a lot of people are retired, but there's a heck of a lot of clubs and things that people probably wanted to do all their lives and were too busy working to do. Tennis, pickleball, art, theater. I mean, people get into all these different things. So, um, but yeah, you would need one or the other. If you don't have work, then I think you would need a really good hobby, a really good interest.
Okay. So doing nothing is not going to uh
Right. And work, I mean, what is work? I mean, I guess,
okay.
working at McDonald's could be fun for some people. I mean, you talk to people and you get out and stuff like that. But I mean, the more rewarding the work is, like if you're looking for a cure for cancer, versus cleaning the floors. I mean, those things are different. It's all about purpose in life, I think.
Actually, okay. Maybe we'll come back to that. Let's hear from Carl, and I
Are
think
you
we
sure you want to hear from me today?
have sure.
Oh, of course.
What do
Uh,
you think about prejudice against work?
I think he has a prejudice against spirituality, meaning I don't even want to ask that question because work for me is sort of an evil necessity in that unless it does something really great, right? But the fact is that if I want to sit down and meditate for a few hours, is that leisure? So then I'm like, I get biased against the most important thing in life, uh, God, religion, and spiritual practice. So it's like, again, if you ask me, so I don't like the premise. I don't like to be set up to think about in that way. And it's completely missing a dimension in my life, which is important. So I don't relate to him too much. I
Well,
understand what
this
he's
is the last
saying,
word.
and I can appreciate him getting people motivated to do work. But if work is working for Elon Musk and paying more taxes, then it's not that interesting.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, you know what this really refers to, if I can go back here. This was he goes back to an experiment that was done with kids back in the 1930s. 600 students, aged 6 to 15, um, told they no longer needed to do any schoolwork. If they misbehaved in class, their punishment was to go out and play. If they behaved, the reward was to do more work. Okay. And these circumstances, all the students discovered within a day or two that within limits they preferred work to no work. In other words, going out and playing and doing whatever you want, or to have a job that has some meaning. So, Carl, I wouldn't say meditation, so leisure. Maybe leisure was the wrong word to use. That's part of your uh, yeah, that's an important part of your life. That I mean, meditation's not exactly easy. Your tradition emphasizes the struggle in meditation. So, but we prefer that. And I think, again, and then I think Sharon, you put this on too as well, having meaning and, you know, that something is meaningful for you. So, okay, it's 8:27. Any thoughts or any last questions before we go? Okay, so I'm going to try to get out the homework earlier, but it's really about your time management style, and hopefully, uh, let me stop sharing. Yeah, hopefully you'll find something in there that is of value. I know younger people who are still figuring it out. And again, I work with college students who are a much different stage of life than either of you, who already have a strong established flow. But still, I think we all, at least I certainly like to be more efficient with my time and do more things that are of value for me. And that's, I think, the exercise there, um, the state of flow. Yeah. If you've already done that, maybe this is not so important to you, but a lot of people have a hard time with that. And, if you're in the business of trying to help people, it's good to understand that they may need help with that. And if you're into the flow a lot, then sharing that skill. Yes, Carl, you raised your hand.
Yeah, more gripe on the so the time management. This is very classic, very old, and this is not my practical experience. I have built multi-million dollar operations and organizations, and it just it's again it's like meant for college students, so that's all right. But my life experience is that the most important thing in your time management is to make sure you do things that other need, and so that you multiply yourself by getting this out of the way first, rather than taking the task that requires, which sounds like important. So when you build teams, and many people ask me why I was so successful. I'm sort of semi-retired now, but why I was so successful. And I always tell them, when you sit down, do your priorities and your time management, make sure that the top priority is what the other people on the team needs from you. The sooner they get it, the closer we get to our goal and the more they feel valued. And so this article completely misses that. And therefore, I look at it, I kind of frown upon it as like, that's not useful, which is not a healthy attitude. But
This isn't the beginner's mind. It's not the open mind.
yeah, I can be accused of that for sure. But in my practical life, if I had followed that time, I would have been a disaster. And in the high pressure situation that I worked in, this is not real life. This is some kind of academic cocoon for me, because the real life works completely different.
You don't think college students are under pressure? They're under financial pressure. They're under social pressure. They're still learning in that
No,
state
yeah,
of life.
but
They are under
the
academic pressure.
American
There's a lot of
academia, the people I see who come out of the American academia are extremely individualistic and have to learn how to work in teams. Sports, people who are into sports or arts are more better equipped to understand the team concept. So it's not that they are not under pressure. I'm just saying it's not applicable to me and the experience. And I would never use that diagram for time management on myself or teach it to others, because there are more things in real life that is so much more important. Taking good care of your team members. For me, for many, many years, making sure that my team members were okay were more important than the output and the goals and all that stuff. And so the sort of nurture and caring for the team became the top priority. It doesn't matter how many tasks that you did, if you ignored the fact that one of the team members are not happy or not functioning or have some personal things going on in their life, that becomes my priority. So it's too static. I would never put.
And don't you need time to do that?
Yeah.
Don't you need to, if you don't manage your time well, then are you going to be able to take care of your team members? This is
No,
about
but
not
I'm,
wasting time. This is about focus, and it's not about, I don't know. Again, if this didn't work for you, that's fine. But yeah, I go back to beginner's mind. Is there nothing there? It's about being efficient with your time, and because there's many valuable things you want to do with your time, and team members is one of them for you and for most of us, I think.
yeah.
Okay, well, it is 8:32. Any other thoughts? Renee, do you want to check in at all?
She probably left the building.
Okay,
Who knows?
so next week I might change the order of things. I think I have on there uh, nutrition, but I may, yeah, we'll see. We're halfway through the course. The rest of this course is going to get into other things. Um, and again, and I guess, Carl, especially for you, I think in terms of not just what you need, but what others you may be working with might need, might be more helpful for you to gain, because we're going to be, working more with psychologists. With nutrition, we're going to talk about nutrition and eating well and what that means. And with that, it's going to be both the personal
I have
and
been trying to unmute ever since you said that to me, and I could not find it. I just now found it. I'm sorry, but yes, that's if I'm going to go back and watch the recording of the class tonight as well, because I've been moving around while the class has been going on.
okay. Well, Scott
Yes,
has
sir.
Okay, so maybe Scott, we can end the recording here and